Hi everyone, this is Samantha from the Dancing Soap Dish. I've got another beginner's basic recipe for you today. It is bath salt cakes. Here they are. So what are bath salt cakes? Well, bath salt cakes, also known as Epsom salt cakes, are bath salts with a tiny bit of water and baking soda added so you can compress them into a basic shape and they'll go rock hard. So here they are here. I'm going to be showing you today how you can make them. I've just made these with a cookie cutter, just a very basic snowflake shape, and I've also used food colouring to give them a pretty blue hue. They are rock hard, but once you get them wet, they do break apart quite easily and they will dissolve just like normal bath salts. Also, you can throw one down onto the floor of your shower and have it break apart and melt and release its beautiful scent while you shower, just like a shower melt. So as per usual, all the details are on the Dancing Soap Dish website, including a printable written tutorial. So let's get started. So you can use a store-bought bath salts mixture to make bath salt cakes, but I'm going to make mine from scratch. I've got Epsom salt here. These are both Epsom salts, but as you can see, they're very different. One of them is like a medium grain and it's turned white because it's been out of the packet for a while, so they've just been exposed to moisture. They've gone a bit chalky. These ones, I just opened the packet just now. These salt crystals are much bigger and they're all nice and clear because they've only just come out of the packet. You do need the smaller crystals to make bath salt cakes. These ones in the blue bowl are probably a little bit too large. If I didn't have these other ones here, I'd probably take half of the larger grain ones and just blitz them in my bullet blender or crush them up in a mortar and pestle and just do like a half combination of Epsom salts. Otherwise your bath salts just won't stay together. Alternatively, you can also substitute some finer grain salts for some of your Epsom salts. So you could use sea salt, pink Himalayan salt, or even table salt. So I have a cup of salts here. I'm also going to add some baking soda or some bicarbonate of soda. And the reason for this is what will hold my bath salt cakes together long term and keep them nice and hard. So you can exclude it and you will still be able to make a bath salt cake, but you'll find after a few weeks that it will crumble back into salts. If you want it to stay a cake long term, you really need the baking soda to help it stay solid and stick together. So I'm just going to give that a good stir and break up some of these Epsom salt clumps that I have here. It is important that this mixture is very thoroughly blended together, so you'll see me doing a lot of stirring. Next, I'm going to add some blue food colouring. I'm just using a natural colour here. I'm going to add quite a lot because it is natural colouring and it does take quite a bit to actually get it to change colour. If you're using standard food colouring, do not add this much. Just start with a few drops and see how you go. Keep in mind also that food colouring is moisture, so if you have to add quite a lot, you might need to hold back some water later in the recipe. Okay, so that isn't mixing in, but that's fine. We'll just add all the wet ingredients and then we'll give it a good stir afterwards. So I am using essential oil. I've selected doTERRA's Peace Reassuring Blend because I want a really calm and relaxing bath salt cake. I'm also using a carrier oil. You can use whichever carrier oil you choose, but I'm just going to use this doTERRA fractionated coconut oil. So I'm putting in 2 teaspoons of carrier oil. And then on top of that, I'm also going to add 20 drops of essential oil. Now, you might be thinking that's quite a lot of essential oil, but the truth is that you will lose some to evaporation while the bath salt cakes are drying. So if you want a lasting scent, we're going to give it quite a good dose of essential oils here. Okay, and the very last wet ingredient that I'm going to add is actually water. But I'm not using water from the tap. I'm going to be using a demineralized water. So the reason for that is I don't want anything in the water or in the salt cake that can cause it to mold down the track. So if you use a distilled water, a demineralized water, you know, something like what you can just get from the supermarket to use like in your iron and other appliances, that's the sort of water that you want. And that's non-drinkable, that water, so that's the one that we're going to use. And I'm going to put in 2 teaspoons of that too. So that is all my ingredients added now. I'm going to give it a good stir. Now, colouring your salts is optional. You can go for natural white, but it's really easy to see how well your mixture is blended together and whether it needs further blending when you use the food colouring, because as you can see, it's slowly turning a uniform blue, but while it's not all mixed in, it's quite easy to see the areas that haven't mixed in properly because they're not quite blue yet. So I'm giving this a really, really good stir. I'm using the back of my spoon also to smush it down, break up any of the clumps, and just really make sure all that oil, water, and colour has been mixed through thoroughly. Next, I am going to bring over a tray lined with greaseproof paper and my cookie cutter. This is the cookie cutter that I'm going to use. I need a basic shape cookie cutter. If it's one that's got, you know, really fine or really tight spaces, you'll find that you won't be able to get the cake out without them breaking off. So use a big shaped cookie cutter, just a basic shaped cookie cutter, I mean. I'm going to start loading my salt mixture into the cookie cutter, and it is very important to ensure that it gets good compression all the way through. So I'm using the back of my spoon and the side of my spoon to push the salt into all those crevices and to make sure that it is compacted. I'm compacting it as I go and making sure that this will be a tightly packed salt cake inside the cookie cutter. It's just like a bath bomb, really. If you don't compact it enough, it's just going to crumble and fall apart. So I'm pushing it into all these little crevices here. I'm also using the back of my spoon. It's coming in quite handy. And then I'm just taking my time. This is taking me quite a while, but I really want to show you that it's not just a quick chuck it in. It really takes, you know, time and effort to make sure that it's all pushed down and compressed properly. So I'm also just using the back of my spoon, swirling it around to make sure that I'm getting into all the edges as well, the edges of the snowflake, pushing it down in the center and also smushing it around. I'm losing quite a bit of salt off the side. That's okay. I'll be able to collect that up and use it again for the next one. So just finishing up my compression here, making sure there's plenty of salt in that cookie cutter. I actually fit quite a bit of my salt mixture in that cookie cutter. So when you squeeze it in good and proper, you can see how much you're actually going to use. So I'm just going to scrape away this excess around the edge. And I can, because the greaseproof paper is non-stick as well, I can slide my salt cake inside the cookie cutter quite easily along. There you go. I'm just cleaning up my workspace here. So I'm going to push this to the corner of my paper, give it a bit of a shake and a bit of a squeeze, and then gently lift the cookie cutter to release the bath salt cake. There we go. I'm being very careful, making sure I pull it directly upwards. I have sort of pulled out one of these little edges here. They are quite forgiving because they haven't dried yet. I can just push that back into place and that should stay like that, which is good. So there is my first bath salt cake. Now I'm just going to collect the excess that fell off the last one and start filling my cookie cutter again to make another bath salt cake. Compression is the key, remember that. Okay, so here is my second bath salt cake, just very carefully easing that away. And I have a third bath salt cake here, just giving the sides of the cookie cutter a bit of a squeeze, which can help it to release, and pulling that up too. Oh, again, I've taken out this little bit here, but I'm just going to push it back into place and that shouldn't be a problem. So I've got a little bit left over. There's really not a lot I can do with this. I'm just going to leave it on the tray here. And I will put these aside to dry. It'll probably take a good 48 hours. They are quite large bath salt cakes, but I'm just going to put them in a cool, dry place where they can set and dry. Okay, while we're waiting for that, let's talk troubleshooting, because there are a couple of things that can go wrong with these, especially if you don't have the right moisture content. So see how this one on the right is just starting to crumble. It's just after a few minutes, I'm working on my next one and it is just falling apart. This is because the mixture is too wet, okay? So I either need to add some more salt and try again, or alternatively, I could set a timer for 5 to 10 minutes and walk away, let the mixture dry out and come back and give it another try. I also don't really think I'm not really compacting these enough as well, so that's probably another issue. Also, if you're trying your best, but you're finding that the salt mixture is just not coming out of the cookie cutter, if you're patting and squeezing and shaking and that thing is just not budging, that means that your salt mixture is too dry. So you need to add some more moisture, either some water, but ideally some more carrier oil, because that's also greasy and it will help, the salt cake slip out. So this here will not come out of the cookie cutter because this salt mixture here is just too dry. So they're the two main problems that you could have, and that's how you fix them. You see, it's not going to happen. All right. Okay, so it has been 2 days. These are my bar salt cakes. I can pick them up now and they are rock hard. I did leave them for 24 hours and then I turned them over. And then I left them for another 24 hours to ensure that they're dry all over. And they are. They're rock hard. They smell amazing. Even this bit here that's left over, that's dried rock hard too. So I'm really happy with these. You need to keep them in a Ziploc bag if you want the scent to not evaporate. And also the colour can fade as well if you leave them lying out. If you want to give them as a gift, I've just got this cute little cellophane bag here. I'm just going to fill up the bottom with the leftovers. I don't want to waste it. And I'm going to stack up my cakes. Actually, I think this bag's a bit too small for that. I might just lay them down on the side. There you go. I'm going to pop them in just sort of overlapping each other. There we go. I have a twisty tie that I can use to tie up my bag nice and tight. I don't want any moisture getting in and wrecking my salts. And I can finish that off with a beautiful bow, so it'll look something like that, which is a great gift. Okay, so here they are, my beautiful bath salt cakes. I really hope you enjoyed watching me make these. I mean, if you have trouble with your bath salts clumping or going rock hard, then why not clump them into a beautiful shape and make a feature of them? So I hope you guys like what we do. If you do, like and subscribe, and we'll see you next time. Enjoy.